Okay. So I'll start with your introduction. Chalo, tell me about yourself.
I'm Sanskriti Verma. I was raised in Delhi. Both my parents are working professionals. I'll be soon a philosophy honors graduate from Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. During graduation, I assisted one of my professors in her research work, and also I'm the creative head of the Philosophy Association department, and also I was the editor of the Philosophy Association Department magazine, which is issued annually. Also, I have a keen interest in art and painting, and I'm a trained Kathak dancer under Birju Maharaji.
Okay. So Kiti, since you have been raised in Delhi, I believe you must be living in nuclear family. So how
Yes,
many siblings do you have?
so I have one sibling. I have a brother.
He is elder to you or is younger to you?
He's younger to me.
Okay. So you must have seen other students also or other family also which are joint in nature. And how do you see this? What are the difference that you have found in a nuclear family and joint family? You can tell me with reference to the way they are looking after the children or they are raising the children.
So earlier I used to live in a joint family. Then later on I shifted. We shifted, and we are a nuclear family. So joint families have a very close and warm culture, and they always have very interactive kind of nature with each other. So they interact. Usually at the evenings, everybody collect and they talk about each other's lives that happen during the day, so they have a very interactive kind of nature with each other. Whereas in nuclear families, parents are usually working, so they do not spend that much time with their children, or and their grandparents do not live with them. So even they do not, the child does not have the exposure or has a channel to talk to whom he or she would talk to. So joint families also always have this kind of advantage wherein children are very interactive, they talk to their grandparents, they know their culture, their roots. Whereas in nuclear families, everybody is busy in their own life, so they do not have the channel to talk to, and they are kind of unaware of from where they have come from, what is the community that they belong to, or the cultural traditions they have practiced
So
throughout.
basically, you are pitching a joint family that
Yes,
a child should be raised in joint family. So this is what you are trying to say.
yes, sir.
But the trend is very opposite. We are gradually moving towards a society where every family tends to be nuclear in that way.
Yes,
So
so
so so my question is that why society is uh, going against the good thing.
I think with the fast-paced life that we are having right now, everybody's involved in their own lives. They do not have time for each other. So they try to have their own terms and conditions to live. And especially when grandparents are there, they kind of have a little of backward mind or a traditional mindset wherein they have different kind of lifestyle for themselves. So this creates clashes sometimes, and that is why now people would like to have their own terms of living. So that is why I think people are shifting to nuclear families.
Okay. So let's move towards your subject, which is philosophy. You have done philosophy honors in your graduation program.
Yes.
So how was the experience of studying philosophy?
So, philosophy is considered to be the mother subject of all social sciences. So, it was an experience which has really enlightened me in a lot of ways. And philosophy is always, it's a very reading based and a very academic subject. So, you have a lot of philosophers. You actually think how the basis of different kind of lifestyles have been questioned by them, how evolution has happened in philosophy, and it has enriched me in a lot of ways in terms of understanding the concepts and questioning the conventional ways of living and society that they had.
Okay. Can you tell me some school of thoughts like which you liked, which you see that this is very, matlab, this school of thought is very relevant for current society?
So not specifically because every school had a different thought process. Like Charukas had different thought process. The Buddhist had different thought process. But I think in today's world, the Buddhist philosophy has really emerged, and people are really accepting how they used to have their lifestyles, especially workshops like mindfulness and yogic practices have been followed really well in today's time. So Buddhist school of thought is something which really interests me.
Okay. And what about the German uh, thought, matlab, school of thought?
So we never had the interaction with German philosophers, so we didn't study German thought, school of thought.
Okay. And what about the Indian ancient, like the Hindu philosophy of life?
Yes, so we had Indian philosophy, Charvaka, yogic practices, and Buddhist school. So amongst all of them, I think Buddhist is one of the most relevant in today's time.
Okay. So let's talk about the current scenario or what is going in society, and how do you see this with your philosophical mindset? Like we are seeing there are a lot of conflicts between religion and caste, and people are being divided, or all the politics is being done on that. How do you see, or what do you see, like about this?
So for me, as a philosophy student, we had one of the philosophers. He was an American philosopher, John Rawls. So he gave a concept of justice as fairness, where he talked about that there should be a veil of ignorance, and everybody should be behind the veil of ignorance. And what is the veil of ignorance is basically how you do not typecast people according to the different societies they come from, or different castes they come from, or gender that they have. So this is something which has to be practically put in place in today's time, because caste or religion or gender is something which only creates differences, and they do not end up anywhere for any human society. So and mankind cannot live up, it's a social being, so you cannot ignore people around you. So I think justice as fairness is a concept which has to put in place in today's time.
Okay. So, Sansidi, why do you want to pursue the PG program at IIT Gandhinagar?
So, as a philosophy student, I understood the importance of research work and how multidisciplinary approach is very important to understand the in depth of any subject. So, a singularity cannot bring you the in depth of anything. So, you have to have a knowledge of every discipline to be able to cater to research work or any kind of practical approach that you can have it. So that is why MA Society and Culture, which brings different disciplines and intersects them in different ways, and all of the disciplines such as anthropology, literature, society, and culture are all culminated in one. So as a student, I would like to approach something which is multidisciplinary.
So what future do you see with this course?
So I would like to pursue PhD in future. So as a as PhD requires a lot of research work, and MA Society and Culture is very research intensive. So that will really help me in future.
Okay, and then in what area do you want to research?
So I would like to research in two areas. One is women empowerment and evolving traditions of modern generation and their responses towards that.
So, do you know any research paper related to this? Like, have you read any previously done research on the same?
So this area is an area which has always been under uh, carpet, and it has never been like a forefront area of research, and even on the internet there is no much information, so it's a very under the carpet topic right now.
Like you're saying that there are no research.
On this
Research.
topic specifically, there are no researches. Only research areas have been how young generation is affected by traditions or cultures.
Okay. So if nobody is taking interest in that, or even like if the world is ignoring this, what are the reason, um, or what interests you to be in that? Because if someone is, all of people are not doing research in this area, they must be finding it maybe difficult or not have much use. So how do you find this is important?
So I think as a globalized world, we all are celebrating each other's traditions, but somewhere we are losing our own roots and traditions. So I think it's very important to globalize, but also at the same time consider your own roots and celebrate them as well. So I think this is the topic which needs to be bring forefront.
Okay. So lastly, just tell me one, like, uh, actually, I have two questions for you. One, like, what are the other options do you have after your graduation?
So other options I would have MA in philosophy, which is like the most common path taken by graduate students of philosophy.
And
And obviously, social sectors such as MA development, MA social work in MA.
have you applied for any other course?
Yes, so I did for MA development studies
Where?
in Azim Premji University.
As you tell me. So why are you not telling me about this? You have applied for test also, no?
Asha, हाँ,
Yes.
TISSNET.
Okay. So now the question is like, if I ask you to compare these two disciplines, because these two are very different in nature, the career paths may be very different through these two subjects. One is like development studies from Azim University, or another one is IIT Gandhinagar. Which one and why? If
So
selected for both.
I think I'll go for MA Society and Culture because MA Development Studies also somewhat restricts the area which is like development sector. But while going through the website and researching about the subject, I got to know that it's a intersection of lot of subjects. It has anthropology, literature, society, uh, and it's a culmination of all of these. And as a as a research oriented person, I would say that it is very important to have the knowledge of every subject, which uh, if you're working in social sector, rather than just a particular area.
So can you find any similar course in other universities other than going for development studies? Do you know
So
any other course which is very close to this?
even Ambedkar University offers some of these courses.
What is the name of that course?
uh, MA Environment and Development Studies.
No, that is not close to society and culture. Maybe the MA in social design, we can say it is kind of close to that. Okay. And the last question is not a question. It's like, um, uh, do you have any question for us?
So I would just like to know what's the process further after the interview.
After?
After the interview, what's the process ahead?
Okay, chalo. ठीक है. So, Chahat, you can stop the recording.